G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special episode for you. We had my good friend Mr. Bilal Ali. We spoke about working in freelance and full-time work, what the differences are, work-life balance, one of Bilal's near-death experiences from burnout, and then on top of that, also getting married young. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video, and please enjoy.
Like I had I had a full-time job and some, you know what I mean? So like the full-time job would have just been filming the games and editing them. That would have been the full-time job. But then there's the admin, there's the chasing clients, there's the turning down clients, there's the invoices, there's all this. So I had all of that. And then on top of that, I had my final year of uni. And one day after Jummah, I fell asleep at the wheel. Like I literally, I fell asleep. My car went through 3 lanes of traffic.
We just want to touch on, we're going to go back to the high school topic.
When did we start recording? Are we on?
Yeah, we started.
Are we on air?
We started talking.
This guy's on the ball.
Yeah, he's
We went on for an hour.
we were recording when you walked in, bro. You didn't see the cameras and stuff. We always got eyes on you. But no, I want to just take it back. Listen, I'm not going to develop on what happened because obviously I didn't go there, but I've heard stories of what happened and stuff in high school. And I'm not going to develop on it because obviously it's not really my situation to talk about. But one thing that I've noticed about you was the thick skin that you had in order for that not to affect you in your future. Confidence, just the confidence in general, brother. Just being able to like be assured of yourself enough to go, you know what? Regardless of the noise, I'm still gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I don't give a rat's ass, bro.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me, what do you attribute that to?
I don't know. Probably a tough upbringing. Like you grow up in the flats in Carlton. Nothing really, you know. What's a few words, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I was talking to my in-laws about it the other day because most of them are, because I'm married to a Turk, as you know, and most Turks are third generation at the moment. So like my wife is third generation. Actually no, she's second generation, but most of her cousins and family friends and stuff are third generation. So they've been in the country for so long that they don't actually, they're not feeling the effects of immediate migration. So when you're second generation, and like me, I was the firstborn, you're here in the first 10 years of your parents being in the country. So I was here when my parents were dirt poor and we had nothing and we were living in Carlton flats. And the only reason why we were there is because you can't be homeless. Like basically, it's either you're homeless or you're in the flats.
Sorry, bro.
So yeah. So when you're raised like that, nothing gets to you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
From what I've seen, I've obviously met your old man. Shout out to Bilal, Wallah, he's a legend.
Yeah.
But do you think that a lot of it has to do with like also your father's or your mother's influence on you when you're younger? Because a lot of the times you see that people, their self-esteem is very like dependent on validation from human beings around them. Yeah. Was it that, like, for example, your father and your mother were like well enough to nurture you for that not to occur, where you don't really require validation from external sources, or like just
validation is important to everyone, bro. If someone says that validation is not important to them, they're probably either they're kidding themselves or they're much more resilient than I am. Validation from the right sources is what's important. So like for me now, it's what my closest friends and my wife and my parents think. You know what I mean? But for, I don't know, someone else, it might be what everyone thinks. So there has to be a common consensus. 99% of the population think that they're on the ball, you know, or that they're, you know, that they're doing the right thing. Whereas for me, it's like if 95% of the world thinks, you know,
you're a flog
I'm a flog, I'm not on anything, but the 5% that I actually care about, you know, supporting me, so that's all that matters. It's a balancing act, like getting the correct consensus. Really,
On that, there's a common thing like people say, like fake it till you make it. Has there been times where it's been tested?
100%.
And then what do you do in that? Because obviously it's all internal. All this self-belief is all internal things. So maybe give us a story about when you were tested and then what you had to do.
A time where I faked it?
Yeah, to get past, because, you know, that's something that, like, I admire from you. Like, I'd love to be able to have that thick skin where it doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to kind of believe in myself.
Because you've done some questionable things.
I've done a lot of questionable things. But, you know, with me, if it's questionable or if it's the right thing to do, I still back myself. Like the confidence I had, like, looking back now, the things I was doing, like, in high school, like, let's make it clear. It's for people that are watching thinking I was dealing drugs or something.
No,
It wasn't like that.
It
Bro.
wasn't too bad. The only
It was-
person that was getting affected is himself.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe people's eardrums. But whatever I'm doing, yeah. So if it's whether it's whatever being on stage or whether it's being behind the camera or being anything, I do it with the confidence and the self belief of someone that's done it 10 years. Like I remember this year, I was in a short film, yeah, and they asked me, they were like, "Can you skate?" Yeah, for this film. I'm like, "No, but I'm willing to try." Yeah. So this is like kind of an example of faking until you make it. And they go, "Oh, okay." So in their heads, they thought like, "Oh, like he's saying no, but like he's probably skated a few times. If he's willing to do it on camera."
Yeah.
Bro, I've never skated in my life. Bro, I'm black from Carlton, bro. I've never skated, bro.
You're
What's
Richie and Bart Simpson, bro.
yeah, bro, what's skating, bro? You know, like, so they're like, "All right, let's go, we're rolling."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, rolling." Yeah. Skate.
Good pun.
I'm like, yeah,
pun,
bad.
good
Yeah,
pun,
thanks,
yeah.
bro. On purpose. Like skate and downhill as well on pavement.
No way.
Wallahi.
You would have stacked it.
Did I stack it? Bro, 100%, bro. Bro, first take.
I want to get the
Bro,
video off and
bro,
put it
bro, I wanted it. They're like, "Oh, they're like, we cut it before you fell." I don't
hold
bro.
on. So you fell for nothing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, "Fine, at least if I had the tape, you know."
Make a blooper reel, bro.
Yeah,
Come on, do
that would have
something,
been
bro.
funnier than the actual film. Bro, so yeah, so what's it called? So I go and I stack it. Absolutely like clear out. And they go, "I thought you could skate." I'm like, "No, I said I can't, but I'm willing to try." They're like, "So if you actually have never," I'm like, "I've never skated before." They're like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Let's go again." They're like, "No, like, no, we're not, bro.
We're not covered.
Yeah, we're not covered for this, bro. Liability." So I end up holding the skateboard in the film.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the film. That's the one where I'm holding the skateboard. Bro, it's so funny. The actual film is like I'm meant to be exercising and then like I get tired and I drink water, but I'm actually fasting. It's Ramadan. Yeah.
Bro, I had so
But-
many questions.
But it's so
Wallah.
funny because in the actual final product, I'm just holding the skateboard. So why would you be so tired from holding a skateboard that you have to drink water? But they don't know that I was meant to be skating.
Oh, bro. I'm
Oh
telling you.
man,
Oh,
but yeah, I faked that hard, bro. Like, like there are a lot of things like that, like a lot of examples like that, where I've just like, sure, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, it seems
know
like
what I
you're very open to new experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
Did that come from something? Like maybe as a kid, your dad.
Yeah,
But-
oh yeah. My dad pushed me to do like I guess you could call it comedy. I was doing impressions basically on stage when I was 3 years old. So yeah,
Subhanallah.
so
So
like,
wallah?
wallah, yeah. I don't know if you knew that.
He's old, man. I told
Yeah,
you,
I
bro.
know.
Yeah. I don't know if you
Something
knew that. Yeah, so I was 3 years old and I was doing stuff on stage.
Yeah.
So like I guess when you're pushed into that,
You had an
not much
affinity, yeah.
not much is gonna scare you because the reason why my dad pushed me into that is because his main fear is stage fright. So he can do it like my dad will do a lot of things, yeah, like he'll do, and he's actually worked on that, and he's actually now he's all right. He does some talks for Human Appeal and stuff like that. But yeah, when I was young, even when we'd go on like Eritrean camps, he would not go up on stage at all, even for like quizzes or anything like that. Nothing. Yeah, and like Ahmed behind the camera would know. He like this guy would not go up for anything. So he wanted me to be the complete opposite of that. So he just pushed me out straight away. He's just like, "Nah, go."
Because I was gonna
You're
say,
on.
bro, for us, especially people in the, I wouldn't say Muslim community, but I would say in the ethnic community in Melbourne, or in general anywhere, it's very, very, very unusual to put yourself in scenarios, especially at a time when you're going through puberty, and you know, it's like everything seems a lot more like life and death, yeah. Especially when it comes to social interactions and whatever happens in the social world, yeah. So for me to kind of like, I couldn't fathom the stories that people were telling me, like yeah, Bilal was doing what's that, spoken word, and he was up on stage, and then he was backing himself. But I think what Ashraf was trying to say from before was, when you fake it till you make it, like, was there a time when somebody had said something? Because people are always outright idiots, yeah. There's always going to be that one or two that want to like leverage themselves in this society or with the boys or whatever, just to make themselves cool off of your back or whatever.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where, like, for example, it affected you, but in your head you're like, you know what, I am hurt, but I can back myself for now and fix that up later?
Yeah, hurt. Yeah, I guess, but not to the point where I ever thought of stopping. Like, I've never stopped anything for anyone. So like, I'm not saying that like a tough guy. I'm just saying like
No,
I've never felt, like I said, like I've never felt validation from the general public is that important. I've had times where I've thought like I might not be good enough to do things. Obviously, like of course, because I got in, like for example, videography. Yeah, I got into videography in the most random way. Like there was an African football tournament. Yeah, ASFA, you might have heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. There was an African football tournament, and they needed a videographer, and I was a photographer. Yeah, and only just, by the way, like when I say photographer, like I had just started. Like I had just started. Like I was taking photos at Futsalars for like 2 months, and I had like a very basic portfolio. This was in probably 2016 or something. 2016. And then they needed a videographer, and I was like, oh look, I can do it because I know how to work a camera. I use it at uni, so I'm doing a Bachelor of Media and Communications. I know how to use the camera. I'll borrow the camera from uni. Literally, I didn't even have my own equipment. Yeah, I was like, I'll borrow the camera from uni. I'll do it, and I'll charge you like the lowest amount that you could like ever get videos for. Like, bro, lower than anything. Like, you can't even imagine how little I charge. Like to the point where I thought it was slavery. Like it was actually like it was so low.
You don't endorse that.
Yeah. Nah, not at all. So I started that, and I basically said, "Here's my photography portfolio. Hire me to be a videographer." And anyone that knows anything about media knows that they're completely different arts.
100%.
Like literally, I can't even think of any similarities at all, except for maybe framing. That's like literally the only thing. And like, imagine getting a videography job off photography. But I was transparent about it. I was like, look, I can't do videography professionally. Like I've never done it, but I can work the camera and I can do it and I can film the games for you. And I did it. Like I did the tournament, had a couple of blips, but everything went fine. And then started a videography career from there. Literally, bro. Like from there, I slowly built up a client base. And then
regular work came in.
Yeah, and regular work started coming in. And I got my first videography. Like you have to get your break from somewhere. I got my first videography gig doing photography, and it's actually insane when you think of that.
I remember that's crazy because what it shows is basically like when you give something a go, no one's telling you to ever begin perfect. No one's ever started anything perfect.
No one starts perfectly.
But you just gotta back yourself and just go, you know what? Even if it isn't this time, I'm gonna jump into it and just figure it out. And subhanAllah, later on, you're known as a videographer and a photographer now. So you work freelance in both fields. I wanted to ask because now you're doing work with Basha. MashaAllah, says great work, MashaAllah, with the community, Basha Ali Foundation. But I wanted to see what you think of freelance work in comparison to full-time work.
There are pros and cons to both. The pros of freelance work is every day is kind of different. Every day is an adventure, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So you wake up and you have to hunt down a new client, or you have to do some admin. You have to advertise yourself. So it's a grind, and that's for me that's a pro. Some people might be a con. For me, that's a pro because I want to kind of work towards everything. And then another pro of it is obviously you kind of control your income as well, so you can make as much money as you can. There's no cap. There's no cap like with a salary, where the man, quote unquote, dictates how much you make.
The white man.
Yeah. I don't want to say that. But yeah.
It's all about slavery and white men in the same podcast.
Basically, no one dictates a cap on how much you make, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine like in 1 month, you can like, if you work hard enough, you can make more than, what probably my boss does at Richmond now. You know what I mean? If I work hard enough. Whereas with fixed term work, you can have 2-3 lazy days and then you'll still make the same amount of money. At the end of the month, your check's the same. At the end of the year, basically your salary is pretty much more or less the same. You might get a 2% or 3% bonus or whatever. But yeah, like the pros definitely outweigh the cons with freelance work. But when you're married and when you have a family and you have rent or whatever, like I don't have kids, but you have rent and you have bills and everything, the stability of a job can't be understated. Can't be overstated. Like it's just insanely stable. Like alhamdulillah, like I thank Allah every day that that I have a very good job, like an amazing company, Richmond Football Club. like when I started working there, I've actually got a funny story about my first day, but save that for later. When I started working there, like I didn't realize how welcoming people can get, especially non-Muslim people, because like I've always been around Muslims. Like I was born into like a practicing Muslim family in Carlton, which is like it's not a Muslim area, but like all the people I knew were Muslim. So like I didn't have any white friends like at all. Like all my friends were Muslim. Went to an Islamic school. Yeah, went to a Muslim school. My kindergarten, everyone was Somali, Eritrean. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah. So and then I went to a Muslim school, and I did 2 years of public school in school, year 11 and 12. Which less said about that, the better. And then uni, I went to Latrobe, which if anyone's been to Latrobe, Little Africa. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I barely know any white people.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
In
Australia, like I barely know any white people. Yeah. So I get to this workplace where obviously all my colleagues are white. Because imagine like Richmond being surrounded by Somalis, it'd be funny. But yeah, so basically all my colleagues are white, basically. And then there's obviously the foundation where 3 or 4 of us are Muslim. But I didn't realize like how welcoming people can get. So yeah, my first day at Richmond was it's actually bring your dog to work day. Yeah, it was bring your dog to work. Yeah, imagine
That's
that.
orcs.
Yeah, and if you know me,
you were jumping on the roof.
Yeah. If you know me, I don't like dogs.
On the roof,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with dogs from a distance, but
no, but it's alright, bro. It's not gonna hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
Let's go get him.
Nah, they're owners, Now, but once they're close, I'm running. You know what I mean?
100%. I don't know what's gonna happen, bro. It's always the unpredictability.
Yeah. No, they have no accountability animals. But anyway, so bring your dog to work day. So I get there, and obviously everyone's got their dogs, and I'm just like, oh God, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. It's basically my dream job. I'm working at a sporting club, and it's bring your dog to work day, and I'm trying to meet my new colleagues, and it's bad enough that I can't shake any of the females' hands, So I'm saying also keep your dog away from me and keep your hand away from me as well.
You're just repulsed by them,
bro. Imagine in the snack room, what's going on with this new guy, mate? Can't shake our hand, can't meet our dogs. What's going on? So I was like, oh, this could not be worse.
Wallah.
Generally,
they're like very overly enthusiastic. If you ever meet them at the start, especially your work colleagues in a different environment, the ones that want to be nice the most, they're very, very, very like, I want to say intrusive, but they're always
in your business.
And it's like the hand's there before you even look. You turn around, the hand's already there. You can't even go like this.
Especially the dog too. They'll hug it, play around with it, take it for a walk.
That thing licks you, bro. You can't even do it twice.
But bro, imagine that. Imagine you telling him, I don't like your dog and I don't want to shake your hand. Bro, that's for them. That's 2 insults in one go, bro.
You have to have a shower after that.
Yeah. Before I've even told them my name, I've insulted them twice. SubhanAllah. So like, I thought like it's a wrap from here. I thought I might have to quit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after that, they were so welcoming. They actually like ended up like tying their dogs to their desks. Like actually, like
that day, or did I bring them every day?
No, that day.
Imagine
every day. I would have actually had to quit. No, that day.
Dogs.
Yeah, and then everything else like so welcoming and everything. But yeah, definitely pros and cons, man. Like, I don't know. Do you want to hear more about the business side? But I think I went on about Richmond a bit too much.
I think for you as well, because you're still like, how old are you now?
24 this week.
You're still early in your career. So the freelance and full-time, a lot of times they talk about not jumping into freelance full-time too early. Because you are like established, you've been working in the field, but you even know it's like the amount you've done, if you double it, you'll probably be so much more ahead. Because it just takes time. It takes time to get better, more skilled, more reputation, more network more. It's one of those things where freelancing, like it's good to do it on the side until you kind of make it your main hustle, until you know it's stable. Because right now it's not. It could be like 3 months, COVID, sorry, there's no projects.
Oh, imagine that, man.
But if you're, like as they say, like so good they can't ignore you, there's always going to be work for you. And it's like a waiting list and stuff like that. That's what you want. It's all timing.
Sounds like Gary V.
Yeah, nah, bro.
Make your side hustle, you mean hustle.
Alhamdulillah, bro. Like if I was just doing like freelance during COVID, bro.
Screwed, yeah. 100%.
Like bro, like I gotta pay rent, man.
100%.
Like you can't have that. So subhanallah, man. Alhamdulillah. Like for me, one thing I kind of struggled with was letting go of like that control that you have with your business.
Oh, yeah.
Like and for me, you know what? Because at the foundation, I work pretty autonomously, so it's actually a kind of it's a good bridge between, you know, corporate and freelance.
Yep.
So like at the moment, I'm the only digital producer with the Bashwali Foundation. So like the foundation is like a subsidiary of Richmond basically. And I also work with the Indigenous program as well. So like I kind of work with those two programs. And then everything else like footy related, the other people in my team do. So I'm basically running the foundation social media, kind of exactly how I was running my own business, except I don't have to chase clients or anything like that. So I still have some of that autonomy. So if I was to go from everything that, you know, that comes with a full-time job, you know, working in a team all the time, someone looking over your shoulder all the time. If I was to go straight into that from working on my business, I reckon I would have had a massive culture shock. I probably would have struggled a lot more. So alhamdulillah, like I've had a lot of time to kind of adjust into the corporate. Well, even though Richmond is really not that corporate, like it's such a laid back place. Like I feel like if I was at the actual AFL, like from what I've heard from people that I've been at both, that would have been, I think, a much bigger culture shock for me. Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, like with your own business and with your own side hustle, a lot of it is establishing yourself. So like Ashraf said, like you have to kind of make yourself a household name, if that makes sense. A lot of that is marketing, but a lot of it is also kind of a lot of it is also kind of, I don't want to say overhyping yourself, but you have to have like so much confidence in yourself, because like when you're in your first interaction with a client, the first thing is how much does it cost. Yeah. And very rarely is it ever black and white. So very rarely is it like 6 hours, this is how much I normally charge for 6 hours. Sometimes it is, because it's like exactly the same as a job you did last week or the week before. A lot of the time it's like a custom job basically. So like, we want you to do this and a bit of this. How much is that? Basically they're asking you how much you value yourself at. So like that is like, to someone who's not like arrogant or anything like that, it's a very confronting question, because like you're asking yourself like, what am I worth? You know what I mean? Like, what is my service worth? So like a lot of people don't actually realize that's part of it. That you actually you have to calculate your own self-worth, you know, your business or your service, and then you have to, you know, give this person a quote, and if they say nah, there are two feelings. One, you're shattered, like you're thinking, oh, like this is a work opportunity. It's like, imagine someone taking 3 shifts off you. You know what I mean? And then but then on the other hand, you're thinking, okay, I kind of held my own, and I said, and this is my worth, and like I'm happy that I'm not undervaluing myself. If you know what I mean.
100%.
So there's kind of two sides to it, but it's a really confronting thing, and it's not easy, man. Like,
I've worked freelance as well, and I know exactly what you're saying.
It's not easy.
There'll be moments where you're like, okay, this took me like about 15, 20 hours of my life to do, and then the bloke will just tell you, and you're like, okay, based off of that, I'm gonna take care of this guy. I'm gonna charge him say $450 or something. The guy tells you, bro, the guy told me you could do it for 200. You're looking at him and you're like, the effort that I put in, the effort that the guy's gonna put in for you is two different things. And the thing is, I've already showed you the piece of work that I'm gonna give you, and now if you take it to the other guy, he's gonna be able to emulate it in a quicker time. The whole process of thinking of how to put it together takes a lot of time. Figuring out inspiration and going through bits and pieces and trying to like figure out an idea and a concept to put together for you, and then showing it to you. You just see the end piece. You don't know the work that goes in the background. So it really does. It frustrates me, bro.
I had a really bad experience recently, man. Like, I had not really a family friend, but someone, you know, that has known me and my family for a while. And him and his organization needed some work done. So I gave them a quote. I did the work, and then somewhere along the line, there was some kind of misunderstanding where this person thought, because he knows me, because, you know, the organization is kind of community based, that I was going to be doing everything at cost. You know what I mean? So he wasn't expecting it to be a quote unquote business to business transaction. You know what I mean? Even though the money was actually funded, so it was all government funded. And I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to say. Don't worry about it. Like what project it was or who it was or anything like that. But I literally at the end of it got a call and I had to go pick up a physical check. Yeah, so like I went and picked up a physical check, and I had to hear a full, probably 5-minute earful of why this person thinks what I'm doing is ethically wrong, while holding on to the check. You know, like kind of like at like close enough distance that I can reach out and grab it and walk out.
Yeah.
But like also I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah,
you know, out of respect. So I'm hearing this guy out 5 minutes where he's telling me why what I'm doing is ethically wrong, because he expects the service to be at cost. And a lot of times videography, photography, people think of it as like a hobby or, you know, something that people can just, you know, do for you.
You're getting experience.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the lowest line I've heard in my life.
Bruv, I've got 10 years of experience, but he still wants me to
You're
get
getting
experience. I don't
I'm
actually have
giving
10
you an
years, but you know,
opportunity.
like
I
I'm just saying.
Yeah. You've
Like,
done your time, bro.
Yeah, bro, and they still think I'm getting experience. So like, for me, that was actually like that was a hardship, you know. That was challenging for me.
100%.
Yeah, like bro, like because I'm hearing this, and in a way, I'm starting to ask myself, am I ethically corrupt, bro? Like I'm like, am I corrupt? Like, has money corrupted me to the point where I'm charging money to this guy? Bro, it's government money, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't charge it, he was gonna put it in.
He's going to pocket it.
He was gonna put it in his pocket, or he was gonna put it in the organization, and they were gonna use it for sausage sizzles or something, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least let me protect my family. Let me feed my family with this money, you know?
Yeah,
He should be trying to support you with it.
Yeah.
There's a reason they give it.
Like, if this guy was actually a friend of the family, he would know, like...
Take care of him, man.
Yeah, like, this guy is newly married. You know, it's a pandemic. Let me pay him, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
You know what I mean? Let me actually pay this guy. Let me take care of him.
100%.
Instead of actually making me feel bad. Bro, like, I took that money sadly, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, I took it and I felt bad about myself.
I get you, man. 100%.
And I wasn't just working by myself as well. I was actually working with the team. It was a big project, bro. This is one of the biggest projects I've actually ever worked on. And this guy's making me feel bad for actually charging for it. So imagine I went and I said, oh, don't worry about it. And then I go to everyone that I worked with. I'm like, sorry, man, I can't pay you. Because this guy made me feel bad and I didn't take the money.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, just because of my feelings.
Yeah.
Everyone else has to
Because this guy thought I should feel bad. So then no one gets paid.
Yeah,
Imagine
basically,
that.
yeah.
And that's another
No.
thing, bro. Like, the responsibility of actually, like, charging people because you have to pay other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then these people come to you and they go, oh, brother, come on, give me a discount, bro. Like, you know. I'm like, oh, I'll give you a discount. Now I'll pay him less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll give you a discount. And what? Like, I'll just pay.
I'll pay out of my pocket.
Yeah, no, I'll pay $30 less for my rent this month.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll say, no, don't worry about it. I'll say to my landlord, don't worry about it. Just, brother, give me a discount.
Yeah, wallah,
Imagine the
wallah,
world worked like that, bro.
wallah.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just said, no, just give me a discount, bro.
That sounds like Lebanon in a nutshell.
bad, bro.
Every ethnic
That sounds like the markets, bro, in the Arab world.
Hey,
Brother, what's the final price?
you said something interesting because now you've spoken about how like you used to do spoken word and then videography and then photography, and you kind of like, we know you've reinvented yourself throughout the years, and that's a hard thing when you have to have like belief in yourself, belief in your skill set, because like you said, when you got into videography, you weren't skilled at it. You were new to the game and you're like, Bismillah, I'm going to take a chance. How do you reinvent yourself and still have the confidence like each time to actually do it to the level of getting paid? Because for example, like we might reinvent ourselves with starting like podcasts, but we're just doing it and putting videos on YouTube. We're not getting paid. It's not actually like our job yet or something like that, you know? So how do you reinvent yourself?
It's a big responsibility as well, bro. Like you've actually got a responsibility as a Muslim as well. If you think you're not at a standard to charge for something, then you can't. You really like ethically you can't. So I very rarely do I actually charge for something at my first or second attempt at it. Like I said with that videography thing, like bro, I charged that guy so little that like I might as well have not charged him anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm there. It was in the middle of summer. I'm standing there in the blazing heat, and I'm going home and I'm editing 3 matches, bro. Like 3 matches highlights every night.
And for us, it's still basic level editing, but
Yeah.
it's
And
like,
I was new, bro. I was
yeah,
new,
it's
so it's not like
new to editing.
it's
It's
not
gonna
like
take
now
a
where
long
I
time.
can not now where I can edit highlights in 10, 15, 20 minutes. Back then I was new, you know, so I'm just like, oh,
Talking about hours
cut.
of content as well.
where's
yeah.
cut?
Yeah, get the blade tool.
Yeah, get the blade cut here, paste. Yep, okay. You know what I mean?
100%.
So like it was taking time, bro, and like I got to a point where I was like, bro, why am I doing this? Like it's really not worth it. But to actually like reinvent yourself and do things for the first time, it's challenging. But I've always wanted to be like kind of a jack of all trades, if you know what I mean, like jack of all trades, master of none. You know what I mean? Like I've always like it's actually for me it's actually a coincidence that my field is actually relying on people to actually be like that now. So like in the media industry now, you can't be a writer, you can't be a photographer, you can't be a videographer. You have to be everything.
Interdisciplinary.
Yeah. If not everything, you have to be at least two things. You know what I mean? So like most jobs that are out there now, they're digital producer jobs with a component of writing, or they're, you know, writing jobs with a bit of video editing. So it's just a coincidence for me that's kind of my field now. That, you know, 10 years ago you could have just been a writer, but now you can't.
You have to adapt, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a weird coincidence, but for me, I've always wanted to be like that. Like I've never been happy to just be one thing.
Yeah.
And I also get not bored, but I also get kind of tired of just doing the same thing. So like in my job or in life, I want to be able to pivot onto different things. And I've never been afraid to try new things, like that skateboard story. like literally, I'll do something that I've never done before, and I'll do it confidently until I stack it. Basically, metaphorically or physically stack it.
Well, that
I've stacked it a lot, bro. I've stacked
it. Metaphor for you.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. I've stacked it on a lot of things, bro, not just the skateboard.
Alhamdulillah, bro. Well, that's awesome, man.
On that, with starting new, like reinventing yourself different times, is there like a story or a person or a quote or something you look up to or you remind yourself of before you start a new venture? Like even going into videography, like when you have that doubt in yourself, what is it that affirms your own belief? Is it like past experiences, or do you look at person X who's a media producer that does it all and you're like, damn, I want to be like him?
No, I'd be lying if I said I had like a role model in my industry. I'd say probably the only person I've looked up to is when I was younger. You guys had him on, Craig Foster. Probably the only guy I've actually like looked up to and thought like I can actually like be like that, because I've always loved football. Yeah, so like I've always thought if I can expand on my knowledge of football, like as a 7-year-old, I thought I knew everything about football. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I thought like I knew everything. Like I watched this many games. You know, I've watched like 10 hours of football today. You know, I thought like I can be like this guy. So he was probably the only guy that I looked up to in terms of actual, you know, being like this guy on TV. But all my the confidence probably comes, as you said, from past experiences. Like if I'm doing something new, I'm always thinking that thing I did was something new. Like and I did that and I was fine. So if I did that, I can do this.
So imposter syndrome isn't really a big thing in your life, is it?
Oh, it is. No, it is.
Yeah?
It is, bro. It so is.
Yeah,
bro. Like I get imposter syndrome all the time. Like sometimes I'm like to my wife, like, am I even good enough to do my job? Like I literally, bro. Like I'm like, this guy and this guy in my team are like so much better than me. You know what I mean? And she's like, nah, you're ridiculous. Like you're actually being ridiculous. Like imposter syndrome is so real, bro. Like if someone doesn't have imposter syndrome, I actually envy that person because I have it so bad, bro.
I don't think anyone does.
They say everyone has it.
Yeah, besides people that are in a manic state.
Surely everyone has it, yeah?
I think so,
Yeah,
every artist has it. And all it is we don't know what's going on in your head or anyone else's head. So we think, oh, no, they don't have it. Everyone has it. Or at least some form of it.
No, I have it badly, bro. Like, I always think, what if I'm not good enough for this or what if I'm not good enough for that? But then that thought is also juxtaposed by the thought of you've done it before, you've adapted before, you've kind of morphed into a position or a role that you didn't think you could in the past, so you can do it again. Yeah. So it's weird. It's like
especially when you hear it from, like, for example, Basha. Well, Basha is probably one of the most untouchable players at Richmond at the time, and he's telling you that when he wants to make sure he never gets injured in order for him not to lose that place on the team, where somebody else come and fills that gap, and then they completely forget about him. You're telling me a 2-time premiership player at the time, 3 times altogether, a guy who was probably like one of the most effective half backmen and effective kickers of the football in general. Like I rarely see him mess up a kick. Mashallah,
he was doubting himself.
He was doubting himself.
Yeah, he always says, if I get picked. Like whenever I ask him, like, you've got a game on Saturday or something, he goes, yeah, inshallah, if I get picked. I'm like, bro, you've won 2 premierships. What do you mean if you get picked?
It's not even like, not with him, but with athletes, with artists, whatever. They don't just say it. They actually believe it. Where they, for example, someone says, hey, that was an amazing show, for rappers, singers. They're like, was it really? I felt like I did this wrong. Like no one realized.
Always.
And they're like, no, I know I didn't hit the note well. It's like, what are you talking about? Or a joke, with comedians, oh, I didn't hit, the crowd didn't react as much as I thought.
Yeah.
It's like,
You need that validation, definitely.
Yeah. No, I've had that because I've obviously worked with people like as a videographer, and like I've seen other artists at work, and they're always like that. Like you're 100% right. They're always thinking like, oh, the crowd didn't laugh hard enough, or the song didn't bang hard enough, or whatever. It's like you said, as a creative, because everything is up for interpretation. So like when you're too close to something, you can't see it how other people see it. I actually heard I'm not sure if it's a fact or a strong opinion, but I heard that 80% of blemishes or things that you see badly in yourself, or maybe even more, people don't see. Like literally, like I think 80% nobody else sees. So imagine like how much only a few people see, So imagine 98%, like for example, of the things that you think are bad with yourself, the majority of the world don't see.
There's people that know about that stuff. They're the ones that accept you the most. So it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They still like love you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, who knows more about a person's frailties than their parents or their family or their wives?
Their brothers and sisters.
Or their brothers and sisters. Who knows more about a person's frailties than the people closest to them? Yet they're the people that accept them and love them and support them and appreciate them the most.
Exactly.
So, if someone from afar sees, something wrong with you, and then they don't show you love, why are you worried, bro?
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like, why are you worried? A lot of times I see someone, they're worried about what like people around them think. I'm like, are you gonna see this person again? Ever? Like literally ever? Are you ever gonna see this person again? Why are you worried about what they think?
Or if you're in a predicament, would you ever ask that person's advice for it?
Oh, that's yeah.
Have you ever used that, like the 80% principle, whatever you want to call it, in like real life? Like an example, something happened to you, and you're like, no one else even realizes, and then moved on.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, you mentioned spoken word, bro. When you're doing spoken word, sometimes like you'll mess up a line or something, and you just wonder, like, did anyone else notice that? But then you're thinking, nobody knows this piece like that well, bro. Like, that's just an example. No one is there except for maybe like, for me, it's like my little sister who probably knows all the words. She'll be like, you messed up that line. No one else knows. Like literally nobody else knows every line to your poem, or no one knows exactly how that video was meant to turn out. No one knows exactly, the lighting that you were going for with that photo, for example. So nobody is there. Like, you're always going to be yourself's harsh critic, unless you're like, completely in the clouds and you think you're perfect, which I've literally never met someone like that.
On that, should you be your own harshest critic? Like,
I think so.
But how hard should you go then?
Obviously don't go too hard on yourself, but you should always criticize, and maybe I'd say constructive criticism. Always have
where's the fine line?
Constructive criticism.
You make videos, you take photos. Us, we have a podcast, and I think 99% of the podcast we end, we're like, that was a dead episode. Then we watch it later, we're like, actually, it was really good.
Like this one, yeah.
Probably. No, I'm joking. But there's like 2 episodes I remember ending and saying, hey, that was actually a good app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro, yeah, man. Like,
and we've done like 70.
Yeah, like I make podcasts, and like whenever I finish with a guest, like obviously like because we've been working from home, so like I'm always like, it's funny, like you're recording, but then you're actually at home. It's like I'm done recording, and I'm done. I tell my wife like, oh yeah, bad, we're literally at your house right now, and I tell my wife like, oh, I'm finished, and straight away, obviously, first question was, how was it? Like, yeah, I guess it was all right. And then like I'll listen back to it, or like she'll listen back to it, or someone else, and they'll be like, bro, amazing podcast. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just thought it was average.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, like how harsh you should be on yourself, I don't know to a science, but harsh enough that you can actually find something to improve on. You know what I mean? But not so harsh that you end up hating the product. Never be that harsh on yourself.
Yeah.
Like I've never been a fan of, people hating on themselves, like, or people that really, really can't take a compliment. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean? Like they say, no, stop.
Yeah, no. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, say someone, scores an amazing goal, and you're like, oh, bro, that was an amazing goal. What do you mean? I'm like, nah, man, he sucked. Like, what? like what do you like, or like, or like,
A
or
lot of people are like that.
yeah, or like it's almost like they're fishing for more.
Yeah.
Like they want more, or they really can't.
I
They
think a
just-
lot of people, they either don't know how to take it, so they don't even mean it when they say no,
Yeah.
or a lot of them really want you to say, nah, that was amazing.
Yeah, they want you. No, they want you to
Yeah.
double down. They want you to say,
Mm.
nah. I mean it. It was an
Yeah.
amazing goal.
You
And-
should say,
yeah,
you should say, to be actually pretty crap.
Yeah,
That'll burn.
I'd be interested to see if they're like, really? No, I thought it was pretty good.
They're not like it's the guy that gets 98% on an exam and goes, man, I didn't even get 100, and then
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
else is getting like 60.
Bad.
Yeah.
It's
I
that-
didn't-
it's
I
that
didn't even study.
situation.
No, I didn't
Oh,
even study people.
bro. Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even study people.
Oh,
I've never been one of those.
Allah.
I've never been. If I get a good mark on an exam, you know I studied for that exam, bro.
Differs. Just to wrap it up, inshallah, I wanted to talk or just touch on the whole marriage side of things. So you got married at 22 years old, correct?
Yeah.
Relative to this day and age, that is very young. You know what I mean? Like, we're starting to see that people are starting to like delay the process of marriage and whatever. This is where I plug out the We Overly Prioritize Marriage episode right up there. Yeah. Go click it, go watch that video.
I think
you know our opinions.
I think you guys posted that, and I replied to your post, and I was like, no. Literally, your question: do we ever prioritize? I was like, nah. So I think you prioritize it.
Keep coming to my house, bro. Go to
Yeah, bad. Nah, sorry. Go ask your question.
But yeah, I just want to touch on that. Like being married so young, with the pressures of life in general. Do you feel like obviously, shout out to Busha, yeah, legend, yeah, probably one of mashallah the most. One of them.
He actually knows my wife personally.
Yeah. She's a legend. She's a legend. Mashallah.
Yeah.
She's not really restrictive on.
Nah, not at
Bilal.
all.
She doesn't hold on to him and tell him no, you can't go places and blah blah.
Yeah.
She's really awesome with that. But one thing that I wanted to ask you was like, not personally, but the whole situation with the responsibilities and that. Do you feel like that really restricts a person from doing what they want to do at such a young age?
Not in terms of, as you said, like it also depends on the woman. So if your wife is supportive, which you should be, you know, you should be as supportive as you can be as the husband, and she should be as supportive as she can be, especially if you're gonna get married young. If you're gonna get married young to someone who's restrictive, and if you're a restrictive person yourself, if you know yourself, you know that you're gonna be don't leave the house, that type of person, you know, or any variation of that, then don't get married young. You know, I know that goes against all sheikhs' advice and everything like that, where they always say like, you know, categorically get married. If you're the type of person that is like that and has that personality flaw, go work on yourself and then get married, because at the end of the day, you're taking someone's daughter away from their house, you know, and you're taking them into your own home, and that person becomes your responsibility, because they will have such, you know, volatile times, they'll have such sensitive times where you'll have to be there. And your personality, you have to be kind of in check as a person to be there for them. So that's just that one kind of, you know, serious side of it, I guess. Yeah. But like, in terms of getting married young, honestly, in one word, it's awesome. It's actually awesome. Like, my wife and I have known each other since uni, and I feel like we kind of, in a sense, grew up together. You know what I mean? Not really. Like, I was already an adult. She was an adult. Yeah. But we kind of developed, you know, as adults together. And even though at times I felt like there was a lot more responsibility on my shoulders than other people at my age. So, like, as you know, like, I had my business full time when I was at uni. So I was doing uni full time and out of my business full time. And the only reason why I made my business full time business was because I knew I was getting married. And I knew I had a wedding to pay for, and, you know, a life after the wedding. And mind you, I had a small wedding. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people should have, you know, 300, 400 people weddings, bro. If you haven't spoken to them in the last year, they shouldn't be at your wedding. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had like that responsibility. I was a little probably too hard on myself in that regard. I tried to raise too much money too quickly, and I burnt myself out. Actually, I don't know if I should tell the story of the car accident. So I was basically working full time on my business, and also uni full time, and this was my third year. So final year of uni, business is going really well. Ahmed was actually working with me at the time, and like, alhamdulillah, everything was going really well except for my sleep. Sleep was non-existent. I was sleeping probably 3 hours a day, and I was still writing as well. So I was still doing football writing as well. So like I was watching games, I was writing about them, working full time on my business, which is videography. So I was like, I had clients, I had this and that. I had basically I had a full-time job and some. You know what I mean? So like the full-time job would have just been filming the games and editing them. That would have been the full-time job. But then there's the admin, there's the chasing clients, there's the turning down clients, there's the invoices, there's all this. So I had all of that. And then on top of that, I had my final year of uni. And one day after Jummah, I fell asleep at the wheel. Like I fell asleep. My car went through 3 lanes of traffic, and I have absolutely no idea how no one hit me. Like I was on Somerton Road, just going down, fell asleep, swerved towards a stop sign. So I was heading towards a stop sign, would have hit it, woke up in the last possible second, swerved my car, went through 3 lanes, and hit the curb. Literally went onto the grass area. Stopped traffic because like everyone was just in shock.
Going on, yeah.
People got out. Saw if I was okay. I was listening to a podcast.
It was FairDinkum. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, I was listening to it before it existed. Man. And literally, like, I could have died in that moment. I burnt myself out way too much, and all because I thought I have to raise so much money before I get married. Like, people say you have to have 20K in the bank. You have to have, full-time job. You have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have that. Bro, it's so not true, man. Bro, by the time I got married, like, I wasn't bankrupt or anything, but bro, I didn't have a lottery amount of money in the bank. Yeah. Bro, I had like a modest amount, had a modest wedding, amazing time, stayed at a resort for one night, and that's it. Went to Bali for my honeymoon, didn't have to go Maldives, didn't have to go whatever, I did it basic, bro.
Bad, yeah.
We had a good time, alhamdulillah. And alhamdulillah, like, I live to tell the story, bro. Like, I didn't die in that. I didn't die in that car accident. But like, there are so many misconceptions, man. Like, don't get married young, bro. Like, have a full-time job before you get married. Have 20K in the bank, bro. It's so untrue. If you have a supportive family, if you're ethnic, you're gonna be getting support.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, I reckon, genuinely, we could have lived off the money we made at the wedding alone.
Bro, I heard the same thing. My mate told me we made a profit from the wedding.
I swear. I don't think we made a profit. I don't think
I wasn't going to have one.
Yeah, bad. I don't think it was that. Honestly, I don't think it was that much. But like, you genuinely make, like, there's so much barakah, bro, in getting married for the sake of Allah, that Allah will put money in your pocket. Allah will take care of you, man. Like, who's going to take care of you more than your creator?
Exactly, bro.
Like, no big business, no corporate entity is going to take care of you more than that. No full-time job.
Not even you and yourself.
Yeah, bro, nothing, bro. Like, you plan and Allah plans. Definitely. As long as your plan is as close to Allah's plan as possible. Because think about it, yeah? If your plan is to be single till you're 28, have a job, have a... I'm not looking at you, sis.
You're looking at him and saying...
I'm looking at him.
Look what a scumbag. I thought we talked about this in private.
Hey, this is a private conversation. Now, but generally, if your plan is to stay... Okay, forget an age. If you want to stay as single as long as possible until you have 50K in the bank, yeah?
Yeah,
and you're turning away viable candidates for marriage, yeah? People that you actually could build a life with together. How is that going to be close to Allah's plan? How is Allah's plan going to be for you to live without a wife? That's not going to, like, for
wrestling me with your nafs.
Yeah. Like, Allah wants better than that for you. If Allah is putting people in your life, that are compatible for you, if you don't find someone you're compatible with, that's a different story. I'm not saying, like, go force it. I'm not saying that. But if you're actually turning... Because I know people that turn people away, bro. They say, right place, wrong time. Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that?
Right person.
Yeah. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Sorry, not right person, wrong time. You've heard that, yeah? Yeah, so, like...
Some 10 things ahead of you.
So you tell them, you're like, bro, that was, mashallah, like, it was a good sister. Why'd you turn her away? Like, why'd you end it? Yeah, bro.
Uni.
Right person, wrong time, bro. I'm still in uni, bro. Like, I was like, bro, if that's the right person, how do you know 4 more right people are gonna come? How do you know 1 more right person is gonna come? You know what I mean? So for me, bro, I pounced on it, bro.
So it's the lack of tawakkul.
Yeah, you have to have tawakkul in Allah,
But
bro.
on that, because of the right person, a lot of times people think they need the perfect person, like perfect for me.
Oh, nah.
Was there still like pre-marriage that like fear that it might not be the right person, all that stuff?
Yeah, 100%.
Because everyone says you have to take a leap of faith, but then people always say no to a person. They get to know them for 3 months. Nah, it just didn't click, or I didn't get the feeling.
Tingles,
Can you
yeah?
tell, can you tell us about
Tingles.
that? Because you actually went and did the day.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
took
yeah.
that step, and then maybe the love got built after, you know?
Yeah, nah, there are conversations that you have to have before marriage, obviously. You know, like, for me, I've never shied away from telling people that before you get married, there are a few tough conversations you got to have. If you're at your wedding day and you haven't had any tough conversations, I've got news for you, brother. You're gonna have tough conversations after your wedding day. You know what I mean?
Time,
Yeah. So you're gonna have, of course, you're gonna have disagreements. You're gonna have, differences.
Yep.
100%. And there's no such thing as a perfect match. Before I met my wife, my ideal woman was gonna watch football. You know, she was gonna go for Man United. She was gonna, love all the same shows as me. She was gonna this. She was gonna that, bruv. That's Seuss. You know, you know what I mean. That's one of your boys. That's one of your boys. You know what I mean? That's not like, I've got news for you, bro. That's not your wife.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If the main thing you have in common with your wife is that she goes for the same football team as you, brother, you're in trouble.
You got low standards.
Yeah, you're in trouble, bro. Your compatibility has to be much deeper than that. You know,
Definitely.
like if you have the same goals in life, in terms of dunya and akhirah, then you're on the right path, man. Like, finding someone that's compatible in this day and age is very difficult because we're all Muslims, but a lot of people have, they have this kind of hurdle in their head where they're thinking, what if this person is more religious than me? What if I don't meet their expectations? If you're marrying someone that's more religious than you, bro, that's such a barakah, bro, because they're gonna drag you up with them, man. Like, it's more likely that they're gonna drag you up than you're gonna drag them down.
Yeah.
Unless you're a horrible person, then you'll drag them down. Like, bro, like my wife is a much better person than me, bro. Bro, like, I'm telling you 100%, she's like levels above me. And I'm just climbing the rungs, bro, trying to get to her level right now.
There was a very bad trend on TikTok. It was the lamest thing I've ever seen in my life. The one where they go, what is the type of guy looks wise, personality wise, and then deen wise?
And then
How
do you say deen?
So I want 7 out of 10 deen. He has to be 6 out of 10.
What
Or
does
he
that
has to
mean?
be a 4 out of 10 deen. I'm looking at him.
Oh, yes, I've seen that actually. I've seen that when he had the same halal haram ratio as you or something,
It's so
Oh my
gone, bro.
goodness.
Wallah, I think people are just cooked these
bro.
days,
That's the thing. That's like people being like proud of how haram they are.
Yeah, that you know the ones
Yeah.
that brag about the good old days?
Yeah.
Bro, those are the
Now they brag about like, oh, like I'm a 6 out of 10 on the halal scale. Like, bro, what does that mean, bro?
Wallah.
Like, what?
Yeah, back to what you're saying.
But yeah, like what is compatibility? Like, say you're looking for someone. What is compatibility to you? Like, what do you think you're looking for?
Gym girl.
It went into a deep one. Now, but I think when people talk about compatibility, it's like you and your friends sometimes. It's like you can chat all day. Obviously, there's going to be times when you're not chatting, but it's like if you're in a car, it doesn't go awkward for 5 minutes. You're like, oh, what are you supposed to talk about?
Of course,
you want to be able to have that
important.
friendship with your spouse, whatever.
Huh?
He dodged that question nice.
Yeah, bad, yeah.
Carry on.
So yeah, back to what you're
He
saying.
doesn't want to talk about how she needs to go to the gym 5 times a week.
Exactly. If she's not yelling out, we're gonna carry the boats, whatever that thing is.
If she can't spot you on your 50 kilo bench press, that's just not it.
It's just outmove my squats.
Nah, go on. Sorry.
No, back
I
to
won't hijack your podcast.
but I wanted to just speak about that because it's interesting with guys just always trying to find the right girl, and I think that when you're talking about the deen thing, like sometimes if there's a big discrepancy, the big difference, it can affect the relationship, but the biggest thing is wanting to change.
Bro, that's
the only thing. Sometimes there's a girl, mashallah, she's on the ball, and the guy, he needs improvement, but if he doesn't want to change, that's when there's an issue. If the girl's hafidha and the guy wants to change, it will work perfectly.
Even then, bro, like the guys that are waiting for a girl to change them, because no one's going to do that for you.
No, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing. You have to, like for me and my wife, we have like a life together and we have lives apart.
Yeah.
Like if my if my life apart from my wife was contrastly different to how my life is with her, then there'd be issues, bro. Because I'd have to switch between like two different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
Hannah Montana.
yeah, bad. And that's
wish.
you know that's and that's very troubling. You know what I mean? You have to be willing as a person to improve, yeah, to improve yourself, but at the same time, you can't be like marrying someone hoping that they change. That's probably if I could give one piece of advice, don't marry someone in the hope that they'll change. Because I know people like that get married to someone or like they'll get engaged to someone, hoping that they'll change. Like I know she doesn't wear hijab now, but maybe she'll wear hijab later.
Yeah.
If hijab is important to you, then
Just take it face value.
Yeah.
What it is.
Marry her expecting she's going to be exactly the same until the day she dies. You know what I mean? Which is obviously not going to happen. She's going to get better, she might get worse, whatever. You might get better, you might get worse. But marry her with that expectation that you will take her in sickness and in health in the way she is at that point in time.
On the church route.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, bro.
Death do us part.
Bro, I've been watching too many movies, bro. Rom-coms,
She's forcing it.
Feel
Yeah.
like she's rolling
in
with
sickness
him,
and in
nice.
health, I do. Like, what are those ones?
See how before he wanted the girl that watches United?
Yeah.
Now, if you ask him, I just want someone that watches rom-coms with me.
Yeah, bad. I don't watch United
The
anymore.
interest-
I was gonna say, bro, this guy deserves a.
Let's not talk about that.
We'll talk about it another.
Nah, I said
episode.
specifically, I said, hey, I told you no football today. Nah, I don't
There's
talk
coming a
about
time, bro. You're
I
not
don't
running
talk
away
about
from it. We're gonna get every United supporter in the world on this
Oh, man.
podcast, bro.
Done.
But yeah, bro. Thank you very much.
I wanted to end it. I got
Kicking
a
in.
question I wanted to enter.
Yeah, sweet.
Not about marriage, even though the topic kind of ended on that. I wanted to know what's something in your life that you wished you knew earlier.
Oh, that's a good one.
Even just the first thing that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be wise or whatever. Just the first thing.
That was nicer to say the first time I met you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just wish.
Should have shellacked me harder, bro. Would have been even
Bad.
closer friends.
That. I wish I slapped him in the face. One thing I wish I knew. It's a tough question. I always ask guests this, and then I get mad that they don't answer straight away. Like come on, just tell me.
Take your time, bro. We can edit this gap.
Yeah, bad. Yeah, cut it.
Don't be lazy.
I would
Otherwise,
say
you're gonna
no,
get fired
man.
from 2 jobs you don't
Nah,
get paid.
nah, I'm resting. I'm resting. I'd probably take the confidence I have now to probably the start, to the very beginning. Like, because when I started, my first job, like in this kind of industry, was at Futsal's, as a photographer and writer, and I was, bro, like any criticism, bro, I was shook.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like I would get a bit of criticism, like your photos, bro. Like if I look back at the photos, they were horrible, but like if I thought a photo was good, basically I got the person in the photo. That was a good photo for me. Like as long as I got the subject in the photo and their fingers weren't blurry, bro, that was a good result. So if someone told me something like anything about the photo, or especially about my writing, bro, I was so sensitive about my writing,
Yeah.
bro. Because for me, I was William Shakespeare from the age of 10. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. Like, how could you, like?
Because you rated that about yourself.
Yeah. Because that's what I thought I was the best at.
Definitely, yeah.
So I couldn't take any criticism. Whereas now, I love criticism, bro. Like I love feedback, as long as it's constructive.
Yeah.
Like I would take this confidence and this love for constructive criticism. You can criticize my speech as well if you want.
No,
I'll take.
you get a full formal letter.
Yeah, bad. If I could take this to the start,
Yep.
I think I probably could have gone further faster. Because I think a lot of what held me back was I wasn't able to take that criticism and morph it into improvement.
Definitely.
So if I could take that and take it back to 2016, which is bloody 5 years ago now, it's ridiculous. I'd do that, and I'd also probably handpick my battles a lot more, because I took on way too much too quickly. Like I don't know if I can emphasize that enough. Like if you're running a business, God, take it slow, man. Like my business boomed in the space of 2 months. I went from 2 clients to 10 clients. Like it went crazy, and that's all barakah from Allah, man. Like I didn't do anything differently, bro. Like I did all the same stuff. I put out the same quality content. I worked the same level, and all of a sudden, bro, things went crazy. And in that time, my test went from not having enough to having too much, and being able to balance that out. So like right now, I'm always focusing on work-life balance. Like people sometimes say like, how do you sleep? Like they actually ask me like they go, like, you must have like no time. Bro, I got time, bro. I play FIFA. You know, like I've got time. Cause like if I find myself with a work-life balance that's completely off the chains, I start thinking I'm going to go back to that. Like I've got such a fear of that, man. Like, because when you've actually experienced that, when you've experienced that car spinning,
there's trauma there, yeah.
Bro, there's so much trauma there, man. Like, there were 2 times where I think I've, like come close to death. That, another one was thunderstorm asthma, which we had like recently.
Oh, well.
Yeah, like I copped thunderstorm asthma pretty bad, but like,
recently,
not this one. Nah, the last time, like 5-6 years ago.
The other brother died.
Yeah. So I copped that. So like, those are the 2 times where I feel like I've had a brush with death, basically. Yeah. So like, I've thought about that every time I've come close to burnout. You know, like we actually have something at Richmond that says it's like a self-evaluation, and it says what are your like lights out triggers or warnings or something like that. And for me, one of them is like lack of creativity. When I can't think of anything, like I've just got a block. You know, like I've got to work on a video and I've just got a block. You know, I had it recently. Like I literally couldn't think, how do I make this a good video? Like I've got all the footage, how do I make this a good video? At that point, I'm like, bro, I've got burnout, man. Like I just got to step away. Like if you're starting a business, if you're going into a job and like you think like I've got to impress, and you go hard and you work extra hours, it's not worth it, man. Don't sacrifice your work-life balance. Like focus on yourself, focus on your personal life, focus on your work, and focus on your deen. Like try to make that split like as even as you possibly can. I'm working on it, man. Like I'm trying so hard not to burn myself out. And
it's difficult because you don't really know when the barometer.
Because money is a big motivator for everyone, bro. 100%. When money's being thrown at you, and you're saying, "Nah, I can't, bro." Imagine, bro. Like in reality, you're saying, keep your money. I need to kick back, watch some TV, play PlayStation, and go to sleep. Yeah. That's actually what you're saying, you know? Like I'm saying it like as like work-life balance, but for me, the things I do to wind down and kick back is like, watch a show.
Downtime.
Play a bit of PlayStation, read a book.
The best line is.
And you're saying no money? Let me have that instead.
Yeah, the best line is there are imports that come from overseas that are going to take you out of job because you're going to end up doing 3 different things, and you can only take one job and you can't even handle that.
Bad,
when
bro.
you hear that, bro, that line, you're like, bro, I'm jinxed now. I can't think about it.
There are like, I don't know if I'll call them imports, but there are,
I know specific group of human beings that I don't want to elaborate on, so I don't say racist.
Bro, they work so hard that if they heard me speaking right now, they'd be like, what a wuss.
Exactly.
They'd be like, I work taxi 12 hours and then I'll go, and then I'll go study for my PhD or something. And this guy's telling me he can't think of an idea for a video.
Exactly. And you can't press a button. And record.
Bad. Yeah, you can't hit record and get the cut and get the paste tool.
Well, khair, bro. Wallah, we really enjoyed this podcast, bro. Jazakallah khair for coming on.
All good, bro. Yeah, jazakallah khair, bro.
I had to put the handshake in there. Why not, mate?
Me and Ashraf are social distancing, but me and you not so much. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to hit the 2K mark, so subscribe, hit that notification bell, and see you guys next week.